She issued a second warning to Trump in just 2 days as US-Iran tensions boil over, signaling that Beijing is watching the confrontation closely. Trump finds himself on thin ice as she fumes over US attacks on Iran, a country China treats as a key Middle East partner and energy lifeline. China pointedly scolds the US and warns Trump to stop attacking Iran, making clear it opposes further escalation that could threaten its interests across the region. China on June 10 urged both Iran and the United States to exercise restraint following the latest round of military escalation, warning that continued clashes could destabilize the wider region. Beijing called on all parties involved to pursue diplomatic solutions to defuse the situation, stressing that negotiations and dialogue are the only viable way to prevent a larger conflict. These comments followed reports that the US had carried out overnight strikes against Iranian targets, signaling Washington's decision to respond militarily to recent incidents. The US strikes reportedly hit Iran's air defense systems, ground control stations, and surveillance radar sites, aiming to degrade Tehran's ability to track and respond to incoming threats. The escalation came after Trump on June 9 blamed Tehran for shooting down a US Apache helicopter near the Strait of Hormuz, accusing Iran of directly targeting American forces. In response, the IRGC launched strikes on US bases in Jordan, Bahrain, and Kuwait, framing the attacks as retaliation against what it called American aggression in the region. The Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman also condemned the European Union's new sanctions against Russia, arguing that such measures further complicate global security and economic stability.
China is deeply concerned over the latest developments regarding Iran. Relevant parties need to remain calm, exercise restraint, stop exacerbating confrontation and escalating tensions, take concrete actions to ease the situation, stick to political and diplomatic means for resolving disputes, and work for an early realization of a comprehensive and lasting ceasefire. As we have repeatedly stated, China opposes illicit unilateral sanctions that have no basis in international law or the authorization of the UN Security Council. We have lodged serious protests to the EU side on multiple occasions to urge the EU to correct the wrongdoing and withdraw the illicit unilateral sanctions. China will closely watch the developments and do what is necessary to firmly protect its legitimate rights and interests. The draft proposal adds to existing evidence that exposes some Japanese forces' attempts and moves to seek remilitarization, break free from post-war norms, and accelerate military buildup. The international community, China included, is deeply concerned and vigilant about these developments. People with insights and anti-war groups in Japan have also expressed their concern and opposition in various forms. By wantonly criticizing and smearing China's normal military activities and hyping up tensions surrounding Japan, the proposal seeks to deceive the Japanese public and the international community and justify the need to speed up remilitarization at home. Hiding behind the pretext of bolstering defense and responding passively, Japan's right-wing forces have been aggressively developing powerful offensive intermediate and long-range weapons, boosting power projection and forward deployment, and steering Japan's security policy toward an offensive and expansionary direction. They seek to embed military expansion and war preparedness into national institutions, economic infrastructure, and public opinion, chip away at the constraints imposed by Japan's constitution, international law, and domestic legislation, renounce their obligations under international law, and challenge the post-war international order. This trajectory is becoming more pronounced and posing a real danger. The international community needs to stay highly vigilant and nip it in the bud.
China had issued a similar warning on June 9, urging both the US and Iran to stop trading attacks, repeating its call for de-escalation and a return to talks.
China, Russia, and India are all emerging economies. Maintaining sound relations is not only in the respective interests of the three countries, but also conducive to regional and global peace, security, stability, and prosperity. China is ready to keep in communication with Russia and India on advancing cooperation among the three countries. The China-India border situation is at the moment generally stable, and the two sides have smooth communication channels. China and India need to have the right strategic perception that the two countries are cooperation partners, not competition rivals, and are opportunities, not threat, for each other's development. The two sides need to view and handle bilateral relations from a strategic height and long-term perspective, enhance mutual trust, expand cooperation, properly handle differences, and promote the sound and steady development of China-India relations. On India-Pakistan relations, China has made clear its position on multiple occasions. We support the two sides in properly handling differences through dialogue and consultation, and jointly keeping the region peaceful and stable. China attaches high importance to the safety and security of nuclear facilities. The ultimate resolution of this issue in the context of the Ukraine crisis is contingent on the political settlement of the conflict. Dialogue and negotiation is the only viable way out. We call on the parties concerned to work for early de-escalation and accumulate conditions for resuming dialogue and negotiation. China maintains continuity and consistency over its position and policy on the Korean Peninsula issue. We will release information on President Xi Jinping's ongoing state visit to the DPRK in due course. Please stay tuned. As we've been saying, between China and Europe, the industrial and supply chains are highly integrated and mutually dependent. This is shaped by economic globalization and market force and has served both Chinese and European businesses well. European companies make their choice based on cost, technology, and efficiency. How is that overdependence? Isn't diversification, in this case, just another version of protectionism? This sort of measures will not make the European industry more competitive, and they certainly go against the EU's own stated principles of market economy, fair competition, and free trade. Do not do unto others what you would not have others do unto you. China-EU trade is not a zero-sum game. There is no reason why China and the EU can't succeed together. The Chinese side is willing and open to working with the EU on trade issues. We hope the EU will work with the Chinese side to find solutions through dialogue and consultation, and let the business communities and people of both sides benefit even more from China-EU trade. China is deeply concerned over the current situation. Return of war serves no one's interests. We hope relevant parties will continue to implement the ceasefire, keep the negotiation going, resolve disputes through political and diplomatic means, achieve a comprehensive and lasting ceasefire at an early date, and create necessary conditions for restoring peace and tranquility in the Middle East and Gulf region.
Meanwhile, Trump issued a sharp warning against Iran on June 10th, casting doubt over the prospects for diplomacy by suggesting that Tehran may have missed its opportunity for a negotiated deal. Trump alleged that Iran took too long to reach an agreement with the US and therefore has to pay the price, implying that continued pressure and punishment are now Washington's chosen tools. The US president went further, claiming that Iran has been completely defeated in the war, portraying American actions as having already achieved decisive success. Trump's Truth Social post read, quote, "Iran's military is a complete and total mess. Much of it, like their Navy and Air Force, doesn't even exist anymore. They have been completely defeated. Iran is all talk and no action. The bully of the Middle East is dead. They've taken too long to negotiate a deal that would have been great for them. Now they will have to pay the price." Unquote. Trump also threatened additional escalation against Iran's energy infrastructure, hinting that future strikes could target vital oil and gas facilities if tensions continue. In a Fox News interview, the US president said that he may keep going against Iran, signaling that the current campaign of pressure and strikes might not yet have reached its peak. In another online rant on Truth Social, Trump claimed victory against Iran in the Strait of Hormuz, presenting recent US operations there as proof of American dominance in the key waterway.